Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. It's Jordan here. This is the X Mansion. Boom! Got it built, ready to place it in the Lego City in this video here today with you. We'll also have a brief look at it as well. Not going to go like in depth to every single little detail because for the most part, we already saw a lot of the details in my designer interview, and I'm going to be quite frank with you here. I'm not going to know every single Easter egg in this set. I have not read all the X-Men comics, and it's been a while since I watched the movies. So I more so want to focus on this set, how it looks in a Lego City format, like with all of the other modular buildings or wherever it's going to go in the city, and also just express some of my thoughts that I have about this set with you here today. All right, first off, 3,093 pieces in this set, 10 minifigures, and 2 massive sticker sheets. And they've actually done something with the stickers that I've never really seen before. They provide you additional stickers so you can add more sticker detail to your model, which is sort of interesting. Most Lego fans aren't a fan of stickers to begin with. They would prefer print. The price of this thing is a whopping 330 US dollars or 430 Canadian dollars for 3,093 pieces. It is absurdly expensive. Like, it is very expensive. There's no question about it. Holy cow. Also, I've got to say, even though there's 3,093 pieces in this thing, I don't think the building is as big as I would want it to be. But I think the reason the building isn't as large as you would think it would be is because they wanted to have all this space in the foreground to set up all of these minifigures in epic action poses. In addition to the minifigures, you also get the Sentinel, which comes with a printed face element right there. And then the circular element on his chest is a sticker. We've got Gambit right up here, and I think this is a missed opportunity. Not the fact that we got Gambit, but I think the playing cards at least should have came printed. Generally speaking, they'll only print things if they can reuse them in other sets, and I think they could use an Ace of Spades and an Ace of Hearts printed piece in other sets. So why wouldn't they print those cards there? That doesn't really make sense to me. The Gambit, like, trans pink element there is really cool. So I believe that is a new element that's found within this set. And then you can see we've got a ton of other minifigures scattered throughout the front of this building and a giant battle scene with Magneto and Storm up top. There's Wolverine on the motorcycle. His claws are digging into the sidewalk there. There is no arm print detailing on him. There's Cyclops mid-super jump there, blasting away. Professor X in his iconic yellow wheelchair. Iceman and Jean Grey, and also Bishop. Magneto up top there, and this wicked cool play feature. Ah! Oh no, there goes the Magneto minifigure! And then there's also Storm and Rogue. There's the 10 minifigures, and a lot of people, based on the comment section of my reveal video, think that there should be more minifigures included in this set. For example, where's Jubilee, Beast, Nightcrawler, etc. They've got to draw the line somewhere. Like, I don't think they can just put 20 minifigures in this set. The price is already quite high. But I think what they could have done is maybe added some more details to these minifigures. I don't see a whole lot of arm print detailing. And I definitely don't see a whole lot of side of leg print detailing. And those details would be nice. Even though a lot of these are new figures that we've never gotten before, it would be nice to see some of those additional details on these really cool minifigures in this very expensive set. This model splits into 3 different sections, and each instruction manual, there's 3 of them, builds a different section. We've got the left and right section and also the center. Something that is sort of strange is the fact that the building is only 14 studs wide at the widest point. Then you've got 4 studs in the back and 14 studs up front, making 32 studs. So the building itself is very small, and it's not very tall either. It doesn't really match the scale of a whole lot of buildings that are in the Lego City lineup, such as the modular buildings and the other modular style buildings in the LEGO Superheroes lineup, such as the Sanctum Sanctorum, Avengers Tower, Daily Bugle. Yeah, it doesn't really match the size of those, in my opinion. I think the reason they did that is because they wanted to display all of these minifigures out front, and it's hard to display all 10 minifigures in this giant Cyclops out front of the building if you bring this building forward and only leave, say, 6 or 8 studs like your standard modular building. So I get why they did it, but it really took away a lot of space that could have been used for the actual mansion. After building the X Mansion, I decided to place it on top of the train track right by my residential area, and I spotted the McAllister's house. And I was like, man, the McAllister's house is a lot more substantial than the X Mansion. I don't even know if I can consider the McAllister's house to be a mansion. It's just like a really large house. So maybe this should be similar size to this. So it's going to make it hard to place in the residential area just because it doesn't really match the size of this or the Simpsons house or a lot of the other buildings in that area in my LEGO city. Nor does it really match the size of, say, the Sanctum Sanctorum. The Sanctum Sanctorum really does just tower over it. So that's going to make it rather difficult to place anywhere in my LEGO city, unless I do what LEGO wants you to do and actually buy multiple of them to supersize this model. Because it's so modular, all the floors can come apart and it splits into the 3 sections, it's going to be super easy for people to customize. Maybe that's what LEGO has in mind for this model, is they want to inspire people to use their creative minds and to expand it using multiple sets or just the parts from your own inventory. Also, I think what LEGO was doing was they were probably considering the price that this was going to be listed for or was going to be sold for. Because if we start ramping up the piece count, sometimes these buildings are hard to get apart, as you just saw. There's the authentic struggle. But if they start ramping up the piece count and start doubling this thing or making it 5,000 pieces to try and increase the size of the building, well, then they're also going to have to increase the price as well because that's just the way it is. And I think if they start raising the price of this set too high, it's going to not price out everybody, but it's going to price out a certain demographic. Maybe that demographic is parents looking to buy a Christmas gift for their teenage son or daughter, right? Like maybe it's going to price those customers out of the market. And I think a lot of adults, if they want to supersize it, then of course they can just supersize it using multiple models or using the parts from their own inventory. I understand why they did what they did, but I think a lot of us wanted a bigger X Mansion that sort of matched the scale of the other superhero modular buildings so that it's easier to place in your LEGO city and actually makes sense when it's sitting by something as substantial as the Sanctum Sanctorum, Avengers Tower, Daily Bugle, whatever it may be. They didn't want to make it too expensive. They didn't want to price certain customers out of the market, and they wanted to focus on the minifigures and the playability of this set. But then my big question is why is this set branded 18 plus? Why would this be an 18 plus set if it doesn't really feel like an 18 plus set to me? I feel like this set should be like 16 plus, 14 plus, because I feel like it's almost sort of gauged toward that market, even though that market might not have the money to buy it. I feel like it sort of is, if that sort of makes sense. Now, with all of that said, I still think that this is a fantastic model that has so many references, like it's awesome. You've got Cerebral, you've got some sticker elements on the wall, there is a X-ray for Wolverine underneath the MRI machine there, there's the danger room, the bedroom right here with the bubblegum print piece, the comic book, which probably should have been printed as well. There's Beast Lab, but look how small it is. It's so compact. Like it is just so compact. There's so many things jammed in there, which is pretty neat. Like the fact that they're able to utilize this tiny little space and build so much within it is so neat. But I think it could have been a little bit larger, more mansion-like. That's probably the last time I'm going to mention it. Actually, probably not. But you can access these little modules very easily because they come apart. So you can access them from the side, and you can also reach in there as well. And they all come apart like so. So we can take that off, which reveals the X So now you know you're in the X Mansion. You've got some sticker elements of the opening of the school there, and also the first X-Men team on the right side of the doorway there. And then there is a newspaper, The News, Mutant Registration Vote. There's a TV screen that's going on about mutants everywhere and about the Sentinels there. And the bottom of the Danger Room. The Danger Room has the different danger panels, I guess we're going to call them, and they actually have comic book number references, which is super cool if you're into that, or they can just be the number of the Danger Room dangers. Down here there is a seating area with the travel guide, and the designers were always referencing Wolverine's friend Deadpool, and they actually said that that sort of referenced him as a Japan travel guide. And there is the screen that flips back and forth right there where we have Beast, and then also some more information on the Sentinel attack, and a bookshelf right there. So you can see that this thing is loaded full of sticker details and just little Easter eggs from the X-Men movie and X-Men movies, and also comic books, which is really well done. And so you would expect it to be, right? This is an X-Men set. So I think they did a great job. They hit a lot of the marks there, like with the references and just all the different little rooms and modules. So I think that's fantastic, but it doesn't really feel like an 18+ set to me. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for growth here, and I think there's a lot of things that you could do with this to make it even better and more substantial for your Lego city and your modular street. From a build perspective, I think this model has a lot going on for it. I really like the shape of these roofs here. Really well constructed with the bricks and the slopes, and the hinged like triangular shapes there. We got some hot dogs mounted in there, some decoration. And then this one here too. Like these triangles were pretty fun to build with the hinge plates and also the rounded plates as well. And then you've just got some studs not on top bricks to mount all these like modified 1x rounded bricks, whatever you want to call them there. And there's a lot of different like masonry bricks, and there's a lot of axle holes all over the place, so you can take your minifigures and you can pose them using all of these trans clear elements. So I like how they've kept that consistent. The yard is really well done. You've got the wedge plates in green and also dark gray, so those match up, giving the grass a really nice shape. And there's these right here. I don't know if those were turrets. I haven't read the comic books. I don't know if those are turrets or water, or like water sprinklers, sprinkler heads. I thought that was pretty interesting. You can say that they're either, I guess. Then you have the Xavier School sign right there, and just like in general, I like the texturing down here. You've got a lot of studs and also a lot of smooth finish, and you can see the battle that's happening right here. So this Cyclops can actually, Sentinel can actually go around Cyclops like that, so you can create some really fun stories. You can have Gambit flying above, and there's actually some damage that's happened to the school right there, and I'm sure you can just rearrange all those elements if you didn't want to have a battle damaged school. Coming around this side here, you've got the basketball net, and then there's the danger room slide, so this will slide open, and that's the entrance to the danger room. And there was the slide in the inside where you saw those screens. This will slide back and forth right there as well. And then you've got some other sticker elements, such as this one here, which features a bunch of different characters, and you can see some say collected and some say missing. The ones that are missing haven't been found in minifig form yet. And then there is the two advertisements up here for Dazzler and also Nightcrawler. Something that's become quite iconic to the modular superheroes street is the cardboard box. It's pretty much found within all of them, and a bunch of different builds from Justin, who was the designer. And also this trash can right here, trash bin. And when you open that up, there's some gems in here. There's a hat, a cutlass, a bubble gum, and also a coin. And those reference different characters in X-Men that actually aren't in this set. And I noticed when building it that there's a bunch of the pink 1x1s found in the base construction of the model. And that sort of represents bubble gum. And I can't get that back on there. There was also a 1x2 tile with a sticker on it as well, hidden in the base construction. and that was an Xavier School letter, and it was signed by Charles Xavier. So there's all sorts of little things found like that all throughout this model. Well, the simplest way to place this would just be in an open spot in the Lego city for now. For example, if I wanted it to go in the residential area where we have a little bit of pop culture stuff, I could just place it right here. Or I could move some of these residential buildings over there into the open space right before the amusement park, and then I could integrate this into the residential area. I don't know. I think it sort of belongs on Pop Culture Street, but I'm scared that it's going to get dwarfed by all these other buildings and just not look right at all. Oh my gosh, this is honestly just laughable. Like, what? It's so tiny, and it doesn't look good in the modular street because it's so sunk in. So it's not really designed to go with the other modular buildings, in my opinion at least. It's just not substantial enough. And I realize the majority of the X Mansion is actually underground, but it needs another floor. It needs a little bit more depth. It needs to be brought out to the standard modular depth, or maybe sunk in a little bit more, because of course you can have different depths. So rather than being 2, 4, 6, 7 studs in, maybe it can be 8 or 9 studs in, but definitely not 14. Like, it's quite a bit. So I think it's going to have to be modified and placed on the modular street. There have been quite a few people saying that what you should do is you should put it somewhere in your countryside. And actually, Jose was a fan of this idea as well. She's telling me that we should put it like within a forest and have a gravel road leading up to it, or maybe like, you know, like a private estate, like an X Mansion estate within the countryside somewhere. My countryside just isn't there yet to accommodate something like that. Maybe one day it could be, you know, somewhere over here, and there could be an X Mansion estate. That's food for thought. But I genuinely don't think it belongs anywhere in my Lego city at this particular point in time in its current state and current size. Because it's not going to match, say, for example, the brick bank, even though mine's been increased in height by 1 additional floor. It's not going to match the size of any of these modular buildings, not even like the Natural History Museum, the detective's office, or anything. It's just too small. No matter where I place it, it's gonna look weird. It's not gonna match the size and scale of my Lego city, even if it's with the residential buildings. Like I said, the McAllister's house and the Simpsons house and even the Quickie Mart dominated in the size department. And if you put it beside these red houses, for example, even those are gonna look weird beside it. You see what I mean? When you compare the peak of this roof with that roof, it's taller. That doesn't make any sense, everybody. I think what has to happen is it has to be increased in size, and it also has to be given its own like gated driveway pull-in. Like, I can't have the McAllister's house looking so big and dominant in the city with the nice pull-in that I customized with the garage, sitting next to the Simpsons house, which once again, quite large with the nice driveway and the walkway going up to the front door that I customized as well. I can't have these looking like so big and dominant and then having this tiny little X Mansion. It makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense at all. In order for me to place this in the city, it needs to be customized no matter where I put it. My end conclusion is I think it's right to have it in a forested area, but make an X-Men estate with the mansion, a nice pull-in, a yard. That would be the ultimate solution for that. But there's no way that Lego would make that as their set. So I understand why they made the set the size that it was, because I think they made it in a way that offers creators a lot of different ways to improve it. They're inspiring creativity, and I think they know a lot of people take 2 of the smaller Avengers towers and make them bigger, for example, like I used to have. Could it have been a little bit larger in the box? I think so, because it would better match the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Daily Bugle, and the Avengers Tower. For now, until I have the real estate and the time to treat this set properly by increasing the size of it and making the pull and making the X-Men estate, I've decided to place it on the shelves right here with all of my other superhero sets. I think that makes more sense than having it in the Lego City, because it doesn't really match up with anything at all right now. So this is the solution that I'm going to run with for now. So those are my genuine thoughts on this set. I think it is an incredible set with a good selection of minifigures that could use some upgrades. Maybe one more minifigure, but they can't really just release 20 minifigures in a set. It sort of reminds me of a play set. I think it needs to be taller. In fact, it needs to be bigger in all ways to match up with those other superhero modular buildings. And to even like compare in size to the McAllister's house or those old Creator 3-in-1 houses are even taller than that in some cases, right? Which is pretty underwhelming if you ask me. But there you go, everybody. It is the X-Mansion placed in the Lego studio, and it's going to reside on the shelves for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the near future. And most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. Bye for now.